representing the defendant. All right, is there an issue before we begin?
There are two matters, Your Honor, I wanted to put on the record. First, I put in front of Madam Clerk's desk people's motions for specific jury instructions, so I'm guessing we can address that at the close of evidence. My next item is we have our expert witness present now outside of the courtroom. I know the defense requested a 402 hearing. I only have 2 witnesses scheduled for this morning, Deputy Fleming, and then I would get right into the expert testimony. So I would request that we do the 402 hearing now, so we can just jump right into the testimony of the expert after Deputy Fleming testifies.
How long will that take?
10 minutes, maybe. I mean, depending on how the court, if the court's satisfied, but I don't think there'll be any issue with Mr. Toto qualifying as an expert.
All right, let's call him.
People call Peter Toto.
Right up here, please, sir. Can you standing, please, sir? Can you raise your right hand, please?
Do you solemnly state that the testimony you are about to give in the matter open before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be seated. State and spell your full name for the record.
Peter Tuttle, T-U-T-T-L-E.
Is that
Thank you.
facing the witness?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning,
Is
sir.
your
Good
camera
morning.
just facing the witness?
Now.
I'm a special agent for California Department of Justice, Bureau of Firearms.
Judge, I just noticed that Mr. were not to film any witnesses, so I just want to point that out to the court.
All right, so not the witnesses, sir.
I'm sorry, can you speak louder, sir?
You don't film the witnesses.
Don't film the witnesses.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead. How long have you been working for the Department of Justice?
Since 2007.
How long have you been working in your current assignment?
Since 2012.
Did you have any other assignments prior to being in the Firearms Bureau?
Yes.
What department?
From 2012, I'm sorry, from 2007 to 2012, I was a special agent assigned to the Bureau of Narcotic Enforcement. Prior to that, I was an investigator for the California Department of Insurance, and prior to that, I was an investigator for the California Department of Health Services. I've been a peace officer for 22 years.
What are your responsibilities as an agent in the Firearms Bureau?
We work the Armed Prohibited Persons System, which is a database that compiles people who have legally purchased guns and subsequently become prohibited from owning guns, either through criminal conviction or commitment to a mental health facility or issuance of restraining orders.
In that responsibility, have you also acquired knowledge of illegal firearms in California?
Yes, through the last approximately 3 years, I have conducted or assisted in the conduction of well over 1,000 APS investigations, and during those investigations, I have handled and inspected easily in excess of 1,000 firearms for the purpose of determining whether they are illegal under California's assault weapon laws or under the short-barreled rifle or short-barreled shotgun laws.
Have you received any training or education that qualifies you for your position?
Yes.
What type of training?
Well, I attended a peace officer academy in 1993. Specifically for this assignment, I received training from the California Department of Justice, formally in Sacramento, and also on the job through senior agents and supervisors in the Bureau of Firearms.
And what exactly do these trainings entail? What are you learning?
Learning how to identify assault weapons through what they call a Category 1, which is by a name to make and model, or a Category 3, which is by characteristics of a weapon, and also for determining whether weapons fall under the short-barreled rifle or short-barreled shotgun restrictions.
Are you familiar with the short-barreled shotgun and short-barreled rifle restrictions as it applies to California law?
Yes, I am.
Are you familiar with a firearm by the name of a TAURUS Judge?
Yes, I am.
How are you familiar with that type of firearm?
I have read about it. I have spoken with other agents about it. I've spoken with gun owners and gun dealers about it. I have held it. I've inspected it, and I have seized it when it was in unlawful possession of people in the state of California.
Are you familiar of the unique characteristics, or are there any unique characteristics of a TAURUS Judge?
Yes.
What are those characteristics?
It is capable of shooting a 45 ACP cartridge, a 45 Colt cartridge, as well as a 410 shotgun shell.
Is it designed to shoot that type of ammunition?
Yes.
In your capacity working for the DOJ, have you also had occasion to instruct other law enforcement agencies about illegal firearms?
Yes, for the last year, I've given instruction to all new Bureau of Firearms agents that are newly hired to the Bureau on assault weapons, short barrel rifles, and short barrel shotguns. I've also given instruction to the California Highway Patrol and local law enforcement agencies in Southern California.
Going specifically back to a TAURUS Judge, approximately how many TAURUS Judges have you personally seized or handled in the field?
Around 10.
And do you use the TAURUS in any way in your training to other law enforcement agencies?
I give that as an example of a short barrel shotgun that will be encountered or that could be encountered on the street.
And in your occupation and assignment, have you become familiar with different types of firearms aside from TAURUS shotgun or TAURUS Judges?
Yes.
Are you able to identify, and do you have working knowledge of being able to identify different types of firearms?
Yes.
How about different types of ammunition?
Yes.
Have you testified in court before?
Yes.
Have you testified in an expert specific to firearms before?
No.
Have you testified in an expert in any other fields before?
Yes.
What fields?
Medical marijuana, narcotics trafficking, and medical fraud, and auto theft.
Thank you. At this time, Your Honor, people would ask to tender Agent Peter Tuttle as an expert in firearms for the purposes of this trial under Evidence Code 720 and 801. That's all.
I'll defer until the process is completed if there is any.
Thank you.
All right. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Tuttle.
Good morning.
Okay, so you've worked for the Bureau of Firearms since 2012, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that's been in the same assignment the entire time?
Yes.
And your title there is agent?
Special agent.
Okay. Prior to that at DOJ, that was the narcotic enforcement assignment, is that right?
Bureau of Narcotic Enforcement, yes.
Okay, and did that involve firearms as well?
It was concentrating on narcotics trafficking and marijuana, but we did run into guns, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, were you actually out on the street in that assignment?
Yes, I was an undercover agent.
Okay, how about for the Department of Insurance? You were a peace officer for the Department of Insurance, is that correct?
Yes.
You carried a firearm as part of that?
Yes.
Did you encounter firearms as part of your work there?
Yes.
How about with the Department of Health?
Department of Health Services.
The Health Services?
I was a peace officer, carried a firearm, arrested people. I don't recall ever having encountered firearms other than people legally and lawfully possessing them.
And how long were you with the Department of Health
Health Services was 4.5 years.
Okay, you testified that you were working with the Armed Prohibited Persons database, is that correct?
Armed Prohibited Persons System database.
System database. Okay, and that's a database that has information about people who are not allowed to lawfully possess firearms under California law, is that right?
Basically, it takes information from the automated firearm system and compares it to the databases such as the criminal history database, the mental health firearms prohibition system, and the restraining order system, and looks for a match where a person who's prohibited and simultaneously has a firearm in their name.
Okay, so is the first step in that sort of investigation finding someone in the system who matches up with both having a firearm and not being allowed to have one?
I think it's more, that's automatically done. They won't appear with a hit in the APS system, the Armed Prohibited Person system, unless they are in both databases, both as a gun owner and as a prohibited person, if that answers your question.
Okay, so in those investigations, you've examined over 1,000 firearms, is that right?
Yes.
Is it fair to say for all of those people, there was a hit or a match in the system that would suggest they were not allowed to own firearms and that they had one?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me approximately out of the 1,000 firearms, or more than 1,000 firearms you examined, how many of them were then determined to be illegal for not just to possess because of their status, but because the guns themselves were illegal?
I would say less than 5% are either short barreled or they're considered assault weapons, and they're not registered as assault weapons.
Okay, and I have, what I've been provided and discovered that it's well over 1,000, is it less than 2,000
Less than 2,000 what?
guns that you examined?
I would say yes, between 1,000 and 2,000.
Okay, so out of those, something like between 50 and 100 have been determined to be illegal, is that right?
Yeah, probably more than that, and that's just the cases that I've done. And other agents that I've been with, I've examined the guns that were involved with their cases, and there have been illegal guns there, mostly assault weapons that we run into.
As part of your training and experience, are you also aware of federal and out-of-state gun regulations?
Not a whole lot, but I do have a basic understanding on many of those laws.
Okay, and you have examined, I think you said, or handled 10 TAURUS judges, is that right?
Yes,
Have you fired one before?
I have not.
Okay, you stated that it could take a 45 Colt cartridge, a 45 ACP cartridge, is that right?
Yes,
And a 410 shotgun shell?
yes.
Can you tell me what an ACP cartridge is?
It's 45 automatic Colt Parabellum, I believe is what it stands for.
And how do you know that the judge can take that cartridge?
It's in their literature.
Okay, and what literature is that?
From the gun company.
Is it something that comes with the gun when someone buys it?
It would be yes.
And do you have that literature with you today?
I do not.
All right, nothing further at this time.
All right, any further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, submitted on the expertise?
Submitted.
All right, I find under 801 of the evidence really qualifies as an expert on firearms and also specifically with illegal weapons. All right, so he may testify as such. All right, ready for the jury?
Yes, Your Honor, just try to keep these way outside off the ground.
You'll be called again and sworn, Mr. Judge, for the jury. All right. Mr. Tuttle, I mean.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ronald Carrari, let the record reflect, the jury and two alternates are present. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
I want to point out that I know you're supposed to be here at 10 o'clock and now it's 10:37. Sometimes during a trial, there are legal issues that have to be dealt with and ruled upon as we go. We try to do them and not to keep you waiting, but sometimes we have to proceed and take care of business as we go. We want to do everything right as we do it and make sure the law is correct and what we're applying. So that's what we did today so far, but we're ready to proceed now. And you'll hear testimony of the witnesses. And at this time, people may call their first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. People call Deputy Defendant. And if the court could please put the screen to the elbow.
So I have
It is not good.
Oh, thank you, Judge. I apologize.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly state that the testimony about to give in the matter now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be seated. State and spell your full name for the record.
Jonathan Fleming, Jonathan Fleming.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
What is your current occupation?
I'm a deputy with the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Department
How long have you been a deputy?
for over 7 years.
Is that how long you've been a sworn police officer also?
Yes.
What is your current assignment?
I'm assigned patrol in the Santa Maria Valley.
Prior to becoming a peace officer, have you received any training?
Yes.
How about as a peace officer in your 7 years, have you received continuous training?
Yes, I have.
Can you please describe that training briefly for the jurors?
Yes. I attended a 6-month police officer academy at Allen College. After completion of that, I went through a 16-week field training program where you receive training from senior officers in the field, and from there on we receive continual training within the department, and I also receive outside training from different organizations for law enforcement type related stuff.
Have you received training specific to operating and identifying different types of firearms?
Yes, I have.
Over the course of your career, have you obtained a working knowledge of different types of firearms?
Yes.
How about different types of ammunition?
Yes.
Can you please describe what your primary duties as a patrol deputy are?
As a patrol deputy, we respond for calls for service in our jurisdiction. We take reports on various types of crimes. We investigate different crimes, which includes responding to the scene, securing the scene, interviewing witnesses and suspects and victims, photographing the scene, collecting evidence, getting search warrants when needed, arrest warrants, making arrests, and also testifying in court.
Let me ask you specifically, were you working on March 20th, 2015 at approximately 10:50 in the morning?
Yes, I was.
On that date and time, did you respond to the Los Alamos area in Santa Barbara County to contact someone by the name of Ron Carrari to investigate a possible crime?
Yes,
Were you alone or with a partner that morning?
with the partner.
Who was your partner?
With Deputy Sandu, Senior Deputy Thier, and Sergeant Hamill also responded to the area.
Which deputies went to contact Mr. Carrari?
All 4 of us went to contact.
Was that at his residence in Los Alamos?
Yes.
When you arrived at the area, did you attempt to contact Mr. Carrari?
Yes.
I'm going to show you a photograph of a house that's been marked for identification purposes as People's Exhibit 1. Your Honor, may I publish People's 1 to the jury rather than go back and forth with the witness and have him identify it from the witness stand?
Not to that exhibit, Your Honor.
Okay, you may.
Thank you. Deputy Fleming, showing you a photograph that's been marked as People's 1 for identification purposes. Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes.
What is this photograph depicting?
It's the front door area of the Ronald Carrari's residence.
Did all 4 of the deputies approached the residence and attempted to contact Mr. Carrari?
Yes,
Were you successful in contacting Mr. Carrari outside of the residence?
he was seen outside the residence.
At some point, did Mr. Carrari go inside of his residence?
Yes,
What did you and the other deputies do after Mr. Carrari went to the residence?
we set up a perimeter, took stations around the house so that the entire area of the house was covered.
Where did you position yourself?
I was on the southeast corner of the residence.
Did you have a view of the residence?
Yes.
What was the view that you had?
My view was I could see the front door and the southeast side of the residence.
If you can refer back to People's Exhibit 1, were you able to see what we're looking at here at your position?
Yes.
At some point, did you see Mr. Carrari inside of his home?
Yes, I did.
Do you have a laser pointer out there with you?
Yes.
Okay. If you can use the laser pointer and show the jury, if you can, where you saw Mr. Carrari.
I saw him through this octagon-shaped window right here.
For the record, the witness is using a red laser pointer and indicating to the right side of the photograph where there appears to be an octagon window placed.
Thank you.
Do you see anyone in court who you recognize as the person that you saw at the octagon window?
Yes, I did.
Can you please point to that person and indicate for the record an article of clothing that person is wearing?
Yes, he's sitting at the defense table wearing a black suit.
And what about the shirt? What about the rest of
A
it?
blue tie and the blue striped shirt.
All right, let the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant.
Deputy Fleming, did you see or hear anyone other than the defendant inside of that residence?
No, I did not.
While you were outside of the residence, did the defendant ever make any mention of weapons?
Yes.
What did he state?
He said, "You have your guns out, I'm getting mine."
At some point, was the defendant exited from his residence?
Yes.
After that occurred, did a search occur pursuant to a search warrant?
Yes.
Did you participate in that search?
Yes, I did.
In what capacity did you participate?
I was one of the searchers that was inside the residence, and also I photo documented some of the stuff that was found.
Did you find any firearms inside the house?
Yes.
How many firearms did you locate?
8 firearms.
Were any of those firearms loaded when you seized them?
Yes.
Approximately how many?
7.
Did you also locate any ammunition?
Yes.
What types of ammunition did you find?
There was handgun ammunition, shotgun shells. That's all I recall.
Did you have occasion to see each firearm in the house when you searched it?
Yes.
Now, prior to testifying today, have you had an occasion to draw any sort of diagram that depicts the bird's eye view of the home?
Yes.
And what did you identify in that diagram?
I identified the areas where the firearms were found.
Holding in my hand a one-page diagram marked for identification purposes of 2. I make the same request to publish it and then have the witness identified.
Any objection?
No objection to publishing.
All right, you may publish.
Deputy Fleming, if you can turn and look at the projector, or I'm sorry, the screen. I'm showing you a photograph that's been marked as People's Exhibit 2, or diagram that's been marked as People's Exhibit 2. Do you recognize this diagram?
Yes,
How do you recognize this diagram?
it's the diagram that I created the other day.
And do you recall when you made this diagram?
Yes, it was last Friday, the 23rd.
Did you make any notations to indicate who made the diagram and on what date?
Yes, I initialed it and dated it.
Flip off the screen. Showing you the top left of the page, can you indicate to the jury what we're looking at?
My initials and
Is this diagram a fair and accurate depiction of what you drew on that date?
yes,
To the best of your knowledge, have any alterations been made to this diagram since you've written on it?
no.
Just so we can orient the jury, can you tell us, in comparison to what we just saw in People's 1, what we're looking at here?
Yes, the front door that was shown on the previous picture is right here.
Identify here, please.
Here where it's, where the red dot is pointing next to the words that say front door. And then the octagon-shaped window that was also there would be right in this area, next to the word TAURUS.
For the record, that would be about the middle of the page, down towards the bottom of the page.
Correct.
And just so we can get an overview, if you can go through each portion of the residence, just so the jury knows what room we're talking about, and indicate why you've identified different words for the different places.
Okay. Front door on the bottom portion of the diagram. Southeast bedroom on the lower left-hand side of the diagram. Kitchen area on the upper left-hand side. In the middle, living room area. The right-hand side, the master bedroom. And then I have a kind of a dotted line indicating a master closet on the right-hand side of the diagram in the middle.
Thank you. Let's go through your participation in the search for firearms in this case. Why don't we start with the southeast bedroom that you've identified in People's Exhibit 2. Did you locate any firearms in that bedroom?
Yes, we did.
What type of firearm did you locate, if any?
Objection, foundation, and personal knowledge.
Sustain legally foundation.
Well, Your Honor, I believe the witness already has. He testified that he had occasion to see each firearm in the residence.
Why don't you go by location and then what discovered at each location?
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay. Why don't we start with the southeast bedroom that you've identified in the lower left-hand side of People's Exhibit 2. What, if anything, was found? Did you find in that bedroom?
We found grounding 9mm semi-automatic.
Same objection, Your Honor. It sounds like the witness is answering we, and it's not clear his personal knowledge.
Okay, you need to use the I personal pronoun, so we know it's you and not other officers. We don't know who did what, if you did or we. All right, so I'll strike the answer. You can ask the question again or rephrase it.
Sure. Starting with the southeast bedroom, did you see any fire, or what, if anything, did you find in that bedroom?
I found a Browning semi-automatic 9mm handgun.
Where did you find that firearm?
It was on the bed in that bedroom.
Excuse me, 9mm. What's that word you're using?
Semi-automatic,
No,
Browning,
9mm, and you gave another word.
semi-automatic handgun.
Oh, it's okay, thank you. Go ahead, please, people.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have two photographs, Your Honor, of a firearm that I had asked to pose as a witness.
You may approach.
Deputy Fleming showing you what's been marked and we're going on the top right photographs as People's Exhibit 3 and People's Exhibit 4 for identification purposes. Let's start with People's 3. Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes, I do.
What's depicted in that photograph?
That's the Browning 9mm semi-automatic handgun.
Is that, and where is it located?
It's on the bed in the southeast bedroom.
Is that a fair and accurate depiction of how you found it on March 20th?
Yes.
And how about People's 4?
It's the same handgun, it just has the magazine removed from it.
Was that firearm loaded when you found it?
Yes.
Your Honor, I asked to publish People's 3 and 4 for the jury.
Any objection?
No objection.
You may do so.
Deputy, if anything did you find in the kitchen?
Found a .22 rifle.
Where was that rifle located?
It was next to the refrigerator in the kitchen.
Actually, let me go back to the 9mm semi-automatic briefly. Are you familiar with this type of firearm?
Yes.
What type of ammunition does it take?
Takes 9mm ammunition.
And when you say semi-automatic, what do you mean by that?
It means that when you pull the trigger on the firearm to fire it, it causes the bullet fires, and that action works, manipulates the slide and reloads the gun so it's ready to fire again with another press of the trigger.
All right, let's talk about the .22 Remington you found by the refrigerator. I'm holding in my hand a photograph marked as People's Exhibit 5 for identification purposes. Can I photograph?
Yes.
Deputy Fleming showing you People's 5. Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes, I do.
Can you indicate what that photograph depicts?
It's the picture of the .22 rifle that I found next to the refrigerator.
Does that photograph accurately depict how you found it on March 20th?
Yes.
Do you recall if that firearm was loaded?
Yes, it was.
What was it loaded with?
It was loaded with .22 caliber ammunition.
Moving on to the living room, Deputy Fleming. What, if anything, did you locate in the living room?
We located
That way,
I located two separate firearms in the living room.
Go ahead and indicate for us what firearms you saw in the living room.
I found the TAURUS Judge and a Winchester 12-gauge shotgun.
Let's start with the TAURUS Judge. Are you familiar with that type of firearm?
Yes.
How are you familiar with the TAURUS Judge?
I'm a gun enthusiast, and I've seen magazine articles and stuff online about that particular firearm.
Did you find anything significant, or what, if anything, did you find significant about finding a TAURUS Judge?
It was loaded with .410 shotgun shells when I found it.
How many rounds can a TAURUS judge hold?
5.
How many rounds of shotgun shell were in the TAURUS judge found?
5 rounds.
Are you familiar with any other types of ammunition a TAURUS judge can fire?
Yes.
How are you familiar with that?
It's part of the selling point that the manufacturer makes is that it can fire different types of ammunition.
Was there more than one type of ammunition found in the TAURUS when you seized it?
No.
Holding in my hand 3 photographs that's been marked. Appears to be a firearm. Has people 6, 7, and 8. If I may approach.
You may.
Deputy Fleming, showing you people 6, 7, and 8. Starting with 6, do you recognize people 6?
Yes, I do.
What's depicted in people 6?
It's the TAURUS judge that was found in the living room.
How about people 7?
It's the same picture of the same TAURUS judge with the cylinder open, showing that there's 5 rounds loaded into the cylinder.
When you handled the TAURUS judge, was the cylinder open when you found it?
No.
How about people's 8?
It's the same TAURUS judge with the ammunition now removed from the cylinder and placed next to it on the floor.
Your Honor, I request permission to publish people 6, 7, and 8 to the jury.
Any objection?
No objection.
I want to start with people's, just so the jury can see Deputy Fleming showing people 6. Is this the TAURUS judge, the jury, how you were able to tell that the firearm was loaded?
There's a release that opens the cylinder, and you can press the release and pull the cylinder out to the side. And using the pointer, you can see that there's shells loaded into the cylinder.
And showing you people's 8. I noticed that there are 5 cylinder objects underneath the firearm. What are those we're looking at?
Those are the 4 10-gauge shotgun shells that were removed from the TAURUS judge.
If I can have a moment. Holding in my hand a plastic package with a firearm inside that's been made inoperable, and a canvas bag of some kind that's been marked for identification purposes as people 19. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Deputy Fleming showing you the bag that's been marked as people's 19. Are you able to, without removing, well, I think we do need to remove the item from the bag. With the court's permission, may the witness remove the items from the bag?
Any objection?
No.
You may.
Deputy Fleming, if you could hold off on holding the firearm.
Proceed.
Yes, please go ahead and take out the firearm from the bag. And I'm going to ask you in a minute if it appears to be the same firearm that you seized, and then if there are any changes that have been made to it since you've seen it. So go ahead and take a moment to inspect it. Okay. After having an opportunity to view and hold people's 19, can you indicate first what we're looking at?
Yes, it's the TAURUS judge short-barreled shotgun.
And does it appear to be the same TAURUS judge that you seized on March 20th?
Yes, it is.
Is there anything about it that has changed since you last seen it other than the markings that we made for evidentiary purposes?
It does have the gun lock secured to it, which was not seen at the scene, but other than that, nothing.
And if you can look also inside the bag, do you see any of the 410 shotgun shells that were present on March 20th?
Yes, I do.
And after looking at how many do you have in that bag with you?
There's 5.
Do they appear to be the same shotgun shells that were loaded in the TAURUS judge when you seized it?
Yes.
Thank you. What other firearm did you locate in the living room?
There was a Winchester 12-gauge shotgun in the living room.
Where was that shotgun located?
I found that shotgun in the living room. It was underneath a couch that turns into a roll-out bed.
Could you use your laser pointer to indicate for the jury what area you're referring to?
Yes. In this area, the middle of the diagram, in the upper portion.
And I see you've marked a location. What does that notation mean?
I used the initials WING for Winchester 12 and 12 for 12 gauge.
Your Honor, I have 2 photographs marked as people's 9 and 10 for identification purposes. I would ask this to streamline if I can also publish this from.
Any objection?
No objection.
You may.
Thank you. Deputy Fleming, showing you people's exhibit 9. Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes.
How do you recognize it?
It's a picture of where the 12 gauge, Winchester 12 gauge was found.
And you indicated that was where in the living room?
It was in the living room underneath the roll-out couch.
And showing you people's 10. Do you recognize what's depicted in people's 10?
Yes.
What is depicted?
The 12 gauge shotgun shells that were loaded in it now placed alongside of it.
So this firearm was loaded when you seized it initially?
Yes.
What the firearm itself looked like when you found it?
Yes.
Moving on to the master bedroom. What, if anything, did you find in the master bedroom?
I found Ruger 44 Magnum, a revolver on the bed in the master bedroom.
I have a photograph of the firearm depicting people's 11. Deputy Fleming showing you people's 11. Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes, I do.
What is that photograph depicting?
It's the 44 Magnum that was found on the master bedroom bed.
Is this an accurate depiction of what the firearm looked like when you found it on March 20th?
It was inside the case, but it was taken out for the picture. So
And can you indicate for the jury what you're talking about the case?
the case would be this cloth container next to it.
And if you can indicate on people's 2 on your diagram what firearm we were just looking at?
That's where I wrote Ruger, and then the numbers 44, and then Mag for Magnum.
Did you locate any other firearms?
Yes, there was the 3 additional firearms found in the master bedroom closet.
What types of firearms?
There was a Remington 12-gauge shotgun, a Ruger bolt-action 22 Magnum, and a 30-06 bolt-action rifle.
Holding in my hand 2 photographs that depict several firearms, marked as people's 12 and 13, permission to publish the jury.
Any objection?
No objection.
Okay, may publish 12 and 13.
See if I can get it better. Okay, Deputy Fleming, showing you what's been marked as people's exhibit 12, do you recognize this photograph?
Yes.
Can you tell us what people's 12 depicts?
That's a picture of the Ruger 22 Magnum bolt-action.
You can use your laser pointer, the light is making it a little difficult to see what you're referring to.
Yes.
Okay, for the record, the witness is pointing towards the center of the photograph.
Thank you.
People's 13. Deputy Fleming, do you recognize what's depicted in People's Exhibit 13?
Yes.
What is depicted?
It's the first, the one on the left-hand side, upper portion of the photograph is the Remington 12-gauge shotgun. Just the end of the buttstock is visible. And then on the right-hand side of the photo is the buttstock of the 30-06 bolt-action rifle.
Through your diagram, can you indicate, I know it's difficult to read some of the language, what you were just referring to in those photographs?
Yes, all 3 of those were found in the master closet, and I indicated rim 12 for the Remington 12-gauge, 30-06 bolt for the 30-06 bolt-action rifle, and Ruger 22 mag bolt-action for the Ruger 22 Magnum bolt-action rifle, and they were all in the master closet.
And you also testified, I believe, Deputy Fleming, that you located different types of ammunition in the home as well.
Yes.
Where, what types of ammunition did you find?
There was various types of shotgun shells and also handgun ammunition inside the residence.
Where was the ammunition found in the home?
It was strewn throughout the home, but there was ammunition in the master bedroom closet, above the headboard of the master bed, and then also there was a separate room on the this side of the residence that had a lot of ammunition. It's your upper left-hand portion of the diagram.
Was the ammunition kept, how was the ammunition packaged?
Mostly it was in the factory boxes that they'd come from the manufacturer.
And you indicated that it was located in different areas of the home?
Yes.
Okay. I'll show you a photograph that's been marked as for identification purposes as People's 14, appear to be different boxes. Deputy Fleming showing you what's been marked as People's 14. Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes, I do.
What is this photograph depicting?
It's various boxes of ammunition that was found inside the house.
Do you know approximately where in the house this particular set of ammunition was located?
Yes, I was in the other bedroom that I don't have labeled on the diagram. That's in a shelf and like a closet inside.
Is this an accurate depiction of what the boxes of ammunition looked like on March 20th?
Yes.
I have another photograph that appears to be boxes marked as people 16. Showing you people 16, do you recognize this photograph?
Yes, I do.
What's depicted in this photograph?
It's more boxes of ammunition. This was found on the headboard of the master bedroom. Bed.
I have one more photograph that's depicting boxes marked as people 17. Showing me people 17. Do you recognize what's depicted in people 17?
Yes.
What's depicted?
More boxes of ammunition that was in the master bedroom closet.
And is this an accurate depiction of how you found the ammunition on March 20th?
Yes.
Of one more photograph, Deputy Fleming. A photograph that's marked for identification purposes. People's 18, has various firearms and ammunition on the table. Finally published, Your Honor.
Yes,
Your Honor, I object. Renew my previous objection on this photo for the record.
okay. Move.
Deputy Fleming, showing you what's been marked as people's 18 for identification purposes. Do you recognize what's depicted in this photograph?
Yes.
And did you take this photograph?
No, I did not.
Okay. But you're able to, you're familiar with the content of the photograph?
Yes.
Can you indicate what the photograph is depicting?
It's a photo of the firearms and ammunition that was found inside Ron Carrari's residence.
Is that you located within Mr. Carrari's house?
Yes.
Going back to People's Exhibit 2, I want to talk specifically again about the TAURUS judge. Was there anything significant to you about the area where you found the TAURUS judge?
Yes, there was.
Okay. What was that?
It was located directly below the octagon-shaped window that I had seen Mr. Carrari in previously.
So I want to put People's 1 back on the screen for you. Deputy Fleming, showing you People's 1. Can you indicate for the jury, again, now that we're looking on the outside of the house, approximately where you found the TAURUS judge?
Yes. It was located on the inside of the residence, but below the octagon window.
And that is where you observed the defendant when you were trying to contact him?
Yes.
Thank you, Deputy Fleming. I have no more questions.
All right, cross-examination.
Good morning, Deputy Fleming.
Good morning.
While you were outside of Mr. Carrari's home, you never saw him holding a firearm, is that right?
No, I did not.
Did you have your gun drawn when you were outside his home at any point?
Objection relevant.
Sustained.
You mentioned that some of these firearms, at least one, is a semi-automatic, is that right?
Yes.
And that was the 9mm Browning
Yes.
that was found in the southeast bedroom.
Yes.
Okay, and can you, and that's this firearm here, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, what's the difference between a semi-automatic firearm and a revolver?
Revolver has a cylinder instead of a magazine for carrying the ammunition, and then your revolvers, when you pull the trigger, the cylinder cycles and brings the round into place for firing versus a semi-automatic where the firing of the gun, the pressure causes the slide to work back and bring the new round ready to fire.
Okay, and the TAURUS judge has a revolver mechanism to chamber rounds, is that right?
Yes.
You mentioned there was firearm found in the kitchen. It's a bit out of order, so bear with me. Okay, this is, I think he testified the Remington 22 caliber rifle, is that right?
Yes.
And you testified that it was loaded?
Yes.
And you examined it yourself and found that it was loaded?
Yes.
How do you load this firearm?
Well, it's loaded. I don't recall exactly for mechanics of this gun if it is a magazine load or if it's just into the, it has a magazine that you would load into the top.
Is it possible it's a single shot?
It's possible.
And would that mean it wouldn't have a magazine if it's a single shot?
Correct.
Single shot means loading one bullet at a time, is that right?
Yes.
As you stand here today, are you confident that it was, it had a magazine or a single shot, or you're not clear which?
Yeah, I don't recall which if it was magazine or single shot.
Okay, but under oath, either it had a magazine in it or a single bullet loaded in it, is that right?
Yes.
When you found the TAURUS judge, it was in a zipped case, is that right?
Yes.
And have you ever seen a TAURUS judge before in person before this case?
No.
But you are familiar with it through magazine articles, is that right?
Yes, I've seen magazine articles. I've possibly seen it in a gun store in another state as well, but I couldn't say 100%.
Somewhere it was legal, presumably.
Yes.
And in reading the magazine articles, is that part of law enforcement training or just personal interest or both?
Probably both. Yeah.
Do you subscribe to firearms related magazines?
Yes.
Do you read articles online about firearms?
Yes.
Based on your review of that literature, I think you testified previously the TAURUS judge fires different types of ammunition, is that right?
Yes.
What types of ammunition does it fire other than 410 shotgun shells?
I know that it fires 45 long Colt as well.
And what's a 45 long Colt?
That's basically a pistol or a handgun round. The 45 indicates the diameter of the bullet.
Is that the same thing as an ACP round, or is that something else?
It's different.
Okay, but does the TAURUS judge also fire ACP rounds based on your review of the literature?
I'm not certain. Yeah.
Is it fair to say you have not read that it does fire those?
I don't recall reading that it does, but I'm not 100% certain.
How is it, if you know based on your training and experience and your review of the literature, how is it that the barrel of a judge can fire both 410 shotgun shells as well as 45 long Colt rounds?
I'm not sure.
Are you familiar with the performance of a TAURUS judge in terms of accuracy and velocity and that sort of thing based on your review of the literature?
No.
Are the 410 shells found in the TAURUS judge something you can buy legally in California?
Yes.
Have you seen them before places that sell ammunition?
Yes.
Have you seen them labeled as handgun buckshot?
I don't recall seeing that. Yeah.
Are the 410 shells that you found with the TAURUS judge the same as 12 gauge shotgun shells?
I mean, they're shotgun shells loaded with shot. I don't know. Obviously, there's a size difference between the two.
The 410 refers to size, is that correct?
Yes.
So what would be the difference between, say, 12 gauge versus 410?
The 12 gauge is significantly larger, and and can hold more shot inside the shells.
In the location where you found the TAURUS Judge, was it behind anything?
I don't recall. There might have been some sort of piece of furniture, but I don't recall off the top of my head.
It's possible that the judge was in between the wall underneath that window and a piece of furniture, is that right?
Yeah.
Objection vague as to possible.
Sustained.
Move to strike.
So do you recall if there, now having had a chance to think about it further, do you recall if there was a piece of furniture in front of the window?
I don't recall.
Were you the first person who encountered the TAURUS Judge as a member of law enforcement there?
I don't think so.